Good morning, everybody. This might not be so fun for a lot of us to talk about and admit, but is the Rafa rivalry? I would have to say, as much as it pains me, that rivalry is gone. One of the best rivalries. Rivalries are a hard word to say. Um, that's definitely one of the best matchups in the history of tennis. So we all love that. Maybe our favorite of all time. I mean, what's your favorite rivalry of all time? Is it Roger Rafa? Then it's been Novak Rafa, and they had a fantastic match, awesome match at the French Open this year. That we really is where I think Rafa ended up having that severe foot injury. I think it manifested itself in that match. He's had this his whole life. I think it really bothered him in that match and became an issue in the match and basically kind of took him out for the rest of the year. That match against Novak, and so now it seems to me that at least for the next 2 to 3 years, let me know what you guys are seeing. That I think Medvedev, Djokovic, amazingly, Djokovic, how's it going, Bashkar? I think Djokovic has started yet another rivalry, um, which is going to be Medvedev and Djokovic. I think that these are the two players that are going to dominate. And what do you guys think about that? Is this the next big rivalry in tennis for the foreseeable future? I don't think. I mean, who knows with Novak? I don't see it happening for 5, 6, 7 years. But I think 2 to 3 years. I don't know. I don't know. I don't see anybody replacing these two. Um, when Rafa comes back in 2022, hopefully he will. He says he's going to play the Australian Open. I'm not sure if Novak's going to. I know the whole idea of the vaccine is still an issue for him. I find it hard to believe he doesn't figure out a way to play it based on what he's trying to do. He's tied at 20 with Roger and Rafa, and he's almost a shoe in at the Australian Open. That like almost give him the trophy at the beginning of the week. So Bashkar is saying disappointing yesterday's result. Yes, both are good on the hard court with defensive style play. So is this the next? Can when Rafa comes back? Does Medvedev take a back seat? If Rafa gets out on the court with Medvedev, who wins that match? Who wins that match at an Australian Open? Who wins that match on clay? You'd have to say Rafa would, but we don't know what we don't know how long he's going to be able to, come back and perform at a high level. You always just take it for granted that, oh, these are the goats, they'll come back, they'll be fine. But even when Rafa was much younger, he had a bad injury. He was out for a while. It took him 18 months to win a tournament. Can you believe that? The great Rafael Nadal took him 18 months to win another tournament. Then he won a ton of tournaments again. Then he became the most dominant player on clay again. So we don't know how Rafa is going to respond. Bashkar is on saying he's just coming with the comments. He's saying that Medi will win the Australian Open in 2022. Will he win that if Novak is playing? Medvedev looked very good at the Australian Open this year. This is still the same year, and I thought that he might have been able to take out Djokovic, but Djokovic put the absolute beat down on him. It seems like he just owns that surface. I guess he just likes maybe they all have their off season, and he clearly prepares the best out of anybody and loves that surface and loves the conditions. I think it's hard to go against Novak if he ends up playing it. I think the biggest X factor at the Australian Open is going to be, is he going to play or not? Is Djokovic even going to show up? Because he's kind of playing hardball, saying, "Look, I'm not going to play if I got to get a vaccine." Still getting Ali Payton's on saying still getting over the the U.S. Open result. Novak's decision to play Tokyo questionable to say the least. Yes, I said that a long time ago, Ollie. I didn't think if Djokovic wanted to win the Grand Slam, which would have been the most important, biggest accomplishment in maybe the history of tennis. It's a big statement, but I don't think I'm overstating it. If he would have won all four majors and also broken the record to go to 21, I mean, clearly the GOAT. It's kind of hard to argue he's not the GOAT. He just won. Now I think he owns the most Masters 1000s after winning Paris. So he's pretty much tied or has the record of almost every um, record out there, a lot of them. We used to say that about Federer, but Djokovic just seems to quickly be destroying every single record in the book. And what's going to happen with Federer? Is Federer really going to be able to come back at 40 years old, another knee surgery? He says he's feeling good. It's encouraging that Roger and Rafa are happy with their progress, with their injuries and their recovery and their surgeries. So that's all great signs. But we're not talking about spring chickens, and these are not robots. Sometimes I think we believe they must be robots or not human, but they are human. And at some point, you know, it's just going to be one too many injuries, one too many birthdays, and they're just not going to be able to come out there and compete. I think we saw that. I mean, if you look at what Roger did at Wimbledon, it was still, when you really think about it, for as long as he was off the court, to come back and to somehow figure out a way to get to the quarterfinals, the final eight players in the world. Don't diminish what an accomplishment that is. The final eight players in the world he got to at Wimbledon, but when he got against Herbie Hurkacz, I mean, he clearly had run out of steam and he had issues again, and it wasn't um, very competitive. The last set was 6-0, which was really tough to watch as a Federer fan. And then we haven't seen him since. Is he going to be able to come back and be competitive at 40? Is there anywhere besides Wimbledon he can actually legitimately compete and be a threat to win for 2 weeks, going out 2 weeks, 3 out of 5 sets? At this point, I don't believe it. I don't believe it's possible. I don't think he can do it. Um, Rafa, it'd be interesting to see what he does at the Australian Open. Again, I would think, just the title of this, I'm thinking it's the main contenders at the Australian Open is if Novak plays. It's Novak number one by a lot. It's Medvedev right there. It seems like when he makes up his mind that he wants to compete, that's one thing I'm a little bit disappointed in Medvedev. It seems like he's getting better at it, but he does seem like he doesn't show up week in and week out. But when there's a big tournament like the US Open or the Australian Open, one he feels that he should do really well on, I guess he doesn't really have much confidence on the clay or the grass yet. But he definitely, I think if there's a hard court tournament, it's big. I think he believes that he is maybe the best out there, or he's right there with Novak right now, and it can go either way. So, he obviously made up his mind to do big things at the US Open. He played a lot of the warm up tournaments, he had perfect preparation. I think this is the biggest reason he won. He had great preparation and not as much pressure to win as Novak. Novak had terrible preparation, and the pressure just kept building at the U.S. Open. But Medvedev clearly peaked at the U.S. Open. Then he had a little bit of he took some time off, and then I think he played a tournament before Paris, didn't do well, and then now he clearly got super motivated for the Paris Open, and we had that rivalry. It seems like when Medvedev makes up his mind that he's going to win, he's going to get to the final, and he's going to play Novak. So I see that being the final of the Australian Open. Um, you know, the other players that were showing a lot of promise that I was getting really excited about, especially early last year. Tsitsipas's win against Rafa at the Australian Open was super motivational. I thought it was an important match for him to win. He was down 2 sets, came back and won. And then for several months, they had a lot of tournaments. They had a lot of indoor tournaments. Just a lot. He played a lot of tennis. Um, you know, leading up to the French Open on hard courts, indoors. Then he goes to on the clay court season. Has an amazing clay court season. Gets to the finals against Novak. And to me, after that devastating loss, after being up 2 sets to Novak, let me know what you guys think. Tsitsipas has not been the same. I want to put Tsitsipas in there. I would have loved personally my favorite rivalry. I mean, it's Novak and somebody, right? I mean, Novak's clearly not done, and he's clearly the best when he's healthy. So I personally was rooting for Novak, Tsitsipas playing week after week. I would have enjoyed that. I think stylistically, it's really fun to watch. They both play a different style of tennis. Um, it's more enjoyable for me. I enjoy Tsitsipas's personality a little more than Medvedev's. So I was rooting for that. But it seems like after that match, it's been a disaster for Tsitsipas. It's been you know, on the court and off the court. It's just not been good for him. He's been either rightly or wrongly accused of cheating and delaying matches and stretching the rule book. Uh, some of the his opponents don't like it. Murray didn't like it. So I mean, I think that's all affected his rise. He was on the rise. Now he's struggling, and confidence is a big thing. So Sissipas, huge question mark going into 2021. It's not the most exciting. Sissipas more enjoyable to watch, says Michael. I agree. Thoughts on theme? I mean, you know, he's got a long way to go. Last time I saw Dominic Thiem, he was on an Instagram video playing with his left hand. So, I mean, I don't think that until he steps on the court and shows he can win one match, we don't even think about Dominic. So, I think he's out. Um, I'm trying to think who's there. Rublev, maybe. Rublev seems like he's done better and better at warm-up tournaments and got to finals. Uh, I just don't know if he's still a legitimate threat or should be in the top 3 or 4 contenders when you're thinking about rivalries, when you're thinking about winning a Grand Slam title. I mean, Rublev, one of the hottest players on tour, close to, he's right up there with wins as far as most wins on the tour this year. But I think he's still a level below. I think when a Medvedev makes up his mind that he's going to put all into everything into a match, I don't think Rublev can compete with Medvedev yet in a 3 out of 5 set match. I don't think that he can do that against Novak. Who else is there? You got, I mean, probably not something we want to hear. I don't think he's a big crowd favorite. For whatever reason, his game is just not that exciting. He does a lot of things well, just not that exciting to watch for me. Is Zverev? I think Alexander Zverev is maybe um, the only other person that you can legitimately put down like they're really knocking on the door to win a Grand Slam. I think Zverev is next in line after Medvedev and Djokovic, and I don't think that's very exciting news for tennis. I think a lot of people don't like his personality. He's obviously had some allegations against him that are not good. We don't know if it's true or not, but I think a lot of people don't like him because of that. He's kind of getting stuck with the Novak Djokovic, stigma of, oh, he's so arrogant, even though, I kind of, I mean, he's come off tournaments saying my confidence level is a 0. I don't think I don't think Zera's been overconfident or cocky, but some people just don't like, I don't know, the way he walks or looks or a look in his eye. I don't know. So those people don't seem to like Zverev. His style play. Um, I think people have something against tall players. Like uh, uh, I don't know. People never really got excited about Isner. I don't think people are very excited about Medvedev. I could be wrong. It seems like we like the 6'1", 6-foot player, all court player, stylish player. Um, uh, People don't like Zverev, but I think that he is the next in line after those two. But it's weird how he can go from at Indian Wells. I think it was. Did he win? Was it Indian Wells? He won. I know there was one tournament he played Taylor Fritz. Uh, was that at Indian Wells? It was somewhere recently, and there was no reason for it. He had extreme confidence. Maybe he won Indian. Who won Indian Wells? Uh, but there was a match where he played Taylor Fritz, and it was really weird because he was destroying everyone, and he was way up against Taylor Fritz. You wouldn't think would make him, get super nervous and shaky. And I thought he was over his double fault yips, and all of a sudden, Zverev couldn't hit a ball on the court. He could not hit a ball on the court, literally. I mean, he just was missing everything. He was double faulting like crazy. All the things we saw him do, decelerating on forehands and serves. So until I see that completely gone, I can't put him up there with Djokovic to take him out. The only guy who has stood toe to toe and doesn't look afraid one bit, and has the rare ability to literally out Djokovic is Medvedev. When Medvedev is hot and Djokovic is maybe not at his full capacity, Djokovic struggles to out rally him. Medvedev is extremely consistent. He has longer reach. I mean, Djokovic has that amazing stretching Gumby ability, but Medvedev covers the court so well, and he's so long. So he doesn't need to do those sliding stretches the way that Djokovic needs to. That's a good, probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches shorter than him. And so he's got this amazing reach. He covers the court like crazy, and he can throw in bigger serves. I mean, what I saw at the US Open was the serve was bigger, so he had easier time holding serve, got more free points. He didn't miss, and it forces Djokovic to be the attacker rather than the counterpuncher. And Djokovic is not used to that. Djokovic is a great offensive player. He can attack. He's not afraid to come to net. But I think Djokovic is at his most comfortable when he's kind of playing like Medvedev, when he's reacting to attackers, and he just is this wall that you can't get the ball by. And then when you come to the net, he just lights you up. And Medvedev seems to be able to do that better than Djokovic at times. And even at the Paris Open, you again had to see Djokovic get a little more out of his comfort zone. And if you watch the points, if you watch the highlights, it's always Djokovic working on creating the offense and Medvedev reacting to that. And we're used to seeing people trying to do that against Djokovic because they know they can't out rally him. And, that's just playing right into his hands. So, that in that respect, it's an interesting matchup. But I don't know that the tennis world, I mean, certainly I don't think anybody's as excited to see that matchup compared to Roger Rafa back in the day. Or then it was Novak and Roger and Rafa for a while. Then and I think that was probably the best, right? When the three of them, when it was Novak, Roger, and Rafa, and anybody could legitimately won that match. I think that might have been the height in the last 10 to 15 years of tennis. And then Federer started to become less of a threat, still a threat at Wimbledon, right? I mean, it was just 2019 where Federer really should have won that Wimbledon final. Don't forget, that was not long ago. We're kind of counting Federer out. We're kind of writing his retirement for him. But just 2 years ago, he should have won Wimbledon. But there's a guy named Djokovic who's maybe the most clutch player, and so tough to win that last point against, especially for Federer. He's broken Federer's heart a number of times. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Are we liking this? Do you guys like the new rivalry? Are you disappointed? Is there somebody out there that I'm not talking about? Oh my, Bhaskar, what are you talking about? Bhaskar is one of my best buddies. He came and trained here with me, but he comes up with still, I believe Stan can destroy Joker at times. Where and when is that going to happen in the future, Bhaskar? Stan is like a non-factor. I mean, when's the last time we even heard his name or saw him on TV? What's the last match he won? He's not a factor. He is not. Rublev is unpredictable, nothing special in him. He is a poor man's Del Potro. Well, I think there's something very special about Del Potro. I think Del Potro, first of all, if he would have stayed healthy, especially if he never had that wrist injury, he would have won so many as how many? I don't know. He would have won 5, 6, 7 Grand Slams, Del Potro. Uh, and Del Potro really showed how great a tennis player he was, and that unfortunately most of his career when he was healthy, he basically played with one hand tied behind his back. He had to serve and hit his forehand and slice his backhand because his wrist didn't feel good enough to really hit through his backhand, which his backhand when he first came on the tour was amazing. I personally think Rublev's got a ways to go before you can even compare him. And I guess when you say he's a poor man's Del Potro, um, that's a good comparison. But I think Del Potro actually had more variety in his game than Rublev. I'm amazed at Rublev's skill. I saw him play in Cincinnati. His racket head speed is um, sick. I don't know if anybody whips through the ball faster than Rublev. But again, he seems like he's got one gear. And I think when you're talking about going for 2 weeks, winning 7 matches, having to take out a GOAT, you've got to have different gears you can go to. You've got to have plan A's, B's, and C's. You've got to have different variety on your shots. I mean, if you look at what Rogers, look at his game. Pinpoint serving, comes to the net with volleys, beautiful slice backhand, topspin forehand, drop shots. You look at Rafa, same thing. I mean, the guy is better at the net than you can appreciate. Big. He's got the lefty, right? That's right there. The lefty is different. Big lefty forehand to people's backhand. He's got a lot of different stuff. Amazing slice backhand, solid topspin backhand, comes to the net, awesome offense, defense. Novak goes without saying. I think he's the best player ever. He seems to do everything perfectly. He's perfected everything. His serve is super solid. I watched him serve up close at the Australian Open, fourth row Rod Laver Arena. His serve's a lot better than you think it is. It's a lot bigger than you think it is. It's pretty much perfect. His ground strokes are amazing. Great defense, great offense, really good at the net, sick drop shots. So he's got a lot of things he can do. He's got a lot of things he can do. Rublev, not enough. So let's see here. Hey, do you answer questions here about the topic, only about the topic? Well, yeah, you can ask a question if you want, but I would like to just stay kind of this, the theme of this is, you know, for the next 2 or 3 years, is this the rivalry? And are we okay with this? Are we happy about it? Are we excited to see Medvedev Djokovic week in, week out in the finals? Is this an exciting thing? Or are you like sitting down with popcorn going, I love these guys, I love this rivalry, it's fun to watch. Or are you kind of like, I'm not so this isn't so awesome. I kind of not so pumped about this. Like, what do you think? Honestly, what do you think of the rivalry? Is it because I think I can't and tell me if I'm missing something. I don't see another choice. I don't see Roger coming back in the mix. And I hate to say it, I think Rafa is a super long shot at this point. I think it's a super long shot that he's coming, before last year. That's how quick things change. I would say the biggest rivalry in tennis in the beginning of 2021, you would have had to say it's Rafa and Novak. Those, to me, were the two top dogs, the big leaders. But a lot has happened since then. A lot's happened since then. And so I don't know if Rafa is ever going to be put in that category again, or am I writing Rafa off too soon? I just see Medvedev, Djokovic. That's what I see for 2 to 3 years, week in and week out. Sissipas, he could do it, but he's so far away right now. Confidence is a crazy thing. He could get it back quickly, but he seems so far off the radar. Rublev, I mean, who am I not thinking of? Um, what's the guy from Italy? Um, oh, what's the big guy from Italy? See, I can't. He got to the finals of the of Wimbledon. I mean, he's there sometimes, but then he kind of goes away. I mean, I don't think he's going to be there week in and week out. I can't think of anything. Let's see here. Hope Stefanos joins the party soon. Based on the Paris final, I'm excited about it. When they both play at their top level, it's tennis chess at the highest level. Okay, so Daniel is excited about a Medvedev Djokovic rivalry week in and week out. Berrettini, yes, Berrettini. Yes. Do you read Craig O'Shaughnessy's article on how Novak won against Daniel? I did not. I did not read it. I'll have to look at it. Sinner. That's another question. I mean, Sinner. Uh, certainly, people have been giving him props now for 2 to 3 years. He is getting better. Um, I just don't know though. I don't see him week in and week out being at the top. Rafa made mincemeat out of him at the French Open, and he seems like at the majors. Um, has he been a real threat? A real threat? Not yet. And so I'm still waiting to see on Sinner. Alcaraz. That's another one. That would be fun. I would like to. Can that kid? He's tough. He's fun to watch. I would get excited, I think, if he was there week in and week out. He's showing up a lot more. Musetti is like, I don't know, what's Musetti done since he said he was going to win the French Open? Like Musetti would be a lot of fun to watch, but he seems like just gone. I don't know, where is he? So I think you guys have come up with some good ones in Sinner. I came up with Alcaraz. Um, but I think they got a lot to prove still. Daniel doesn't have much to prove. He's kind of like showing, I'm here. I'm here, dude. I'm the next guy. Djokovic, you're going to have to, you want to get 21 Grand Slams. You want to get 22 Grand Slams. You want to get 23 Grand Slams. You're going to have to beat me. You're going to have to beat me. No one else seems to be doing that. No one seems to be doing that. Let's see here. Zverev is the real deal, in my opinion, to challenge Djokovic, but seems to be missing a small link somewhere. Exactly. And, that's what it takes on tour. If you miss a small link, it's a big link. Tennis a bunch of small, little things that separate you. And, I mean, if you go to a professional tournament, you watch somebody you've never even seen in your life, and you watch them just hit the ball, and you'd be right in thinking this. You're like, you can't hit a tennis ball better than that. Like someone who's like 200 in the world, you watch them play in practice from their serve to their ground strokes to their volleys, you would have to walk away going, you cannot hit a tennis ball better than that. So it is more than just ground strokes and serves and volleys. It's a whole package, and the best players just do things just a little better across the board, and then that makes a big difference. And there's something that Zverev's not doing that Medvedev and Djokovic are doing. Pete, what do you think about Brooksby? Oh, if well, he definitely has to improve his serve, but he's exciting to watch. I like watching him, but again, it's like the next tier. Like when I'm thinking about Sinner, I mean he's okay. So you got Djokovic, Medvedev to me. Then after that, you got to give it to Nadal. With he's the X factor. How healthy will he be? If he's healthy, he's right in there with those three. It becomes the big three again. Better is, I think, 40 years old. Come on, he's not there. I don't think he's gonna be there. Then you got, to me, Sissipas and Zverev, and you got to give that to Zverev. And Sissipas is an X factor. Then below that, you got Sinner and maybe Alcaraz. And but it's like a complete like level down. And then under that you got like your Brooks Beast. Like he's there. He's something you talk about, but he's certainly not near the top or even close. So that's my thought. Dimitrov has played really well lately. Yes, again, and Dimitrov seems to do this every 2 to 3 years. In smaller 500s, even Masters 1000s, we start to go, man, Dimitrov's doing great. I love to watch him play. He's so fun. Why doesn't he win more? And that's all it's ever going to be. It's you just kind of look at him and you go, "Oh yeah, I remember Dimitrov. He's awesome. I wish he'd win more. This is fun to watch him play." And then 2 months later, all of a sudden, boom, gone. Like no results. Uh, in the majors, you know, if he gets past the first week, that's an awesome week for him. And somebody's going to take him out round of 32, round of 16 best. If he gets to the quarters, that's an unreal tournament for him. I don't think that's going to change. That's not going to change. So you just got to enjoy Dimitrov for when you see him on TV and when he wins. He's fun to watch. Shapovalov. Yeah, Shapovalov. I love Shapovalov. But again, just not there. I'd put him in the center. I put him in the center. Uh, Alcaraz. You know, I've met Felix Auger all day. Aliassime. I put him there. You know, they're there. They're going to be talked about. They're going to be fun to turn on the TV on. But they're not. They're not at the top. They're not right there at the top. And this is what the game has had for. When we have Roger, Rafa, and Novak, they literally were in 60 Grand Slam finals. Okay, that's years. That's many years of no one else having a chance of winning. That's how much they dominated. So, I don't see what these people were talking about um, doing it. Theme is a poor man's Stefanos. Yeah, but I mean, Stefanos has got some things that he's got to do to get his confidence back. He's got to get some results going. Something's going on with him. Something's going on. He was one of the ones troubling Djokovic the most before the 2021 setback. Who was? Who was troubling Djokovic the most? Tsitsipas? I mean, he was. What do you think of Theme? Yeah, he had one bad year. No, no, guys, I'm not worried about Theme having a bad year. He didn't have a bad year. He freaking got wrist surgery. The last time you're going to see Dominic hitting a ball, he was hitting with his left hand. That's the last time I've seen a video of him. I don't know. Is there any update? I mean, it's tough to come back from a wrist injury. Well, Pete, we're liking the new rivalry or not. The Paris Masters was completely packed from day one. Packed. I mean, you liked it. You liked all the matches. There was a lot of good matches. Did you guys like the Paris Masters? It was a lot of good matches. So are we liking the direction of tennis? Do we think tennis is trending in the right direction? Are we liking the new blood? Hubie Hurkacz showed this year some good tennis. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Miami, Paris, Wimbledon. Yeah, he Hurkacz, great player. Fun to watch. Fun to watch. We're talking about. I'm just talking about what is the biggest and best rivalry. That's what this video is about. I'm not saying that these other players are not amazing, that they're not fun to watch. Um, what I am saying though is the only legit rivalry right now I see is Medvedev and Djokovic. We're talking about the biggest. I mean, sure, you could say Shapovalov, Felix all day Auger, since they're both from Canada and they're both around the same age and they both are exciting to watch. You could say that's a rivalry, but it's not the biggest and the best. I'm talking about the biggest and the best rivalry right now is Medvedev and Djokovic. There's not a close second. There is no big three right now in my mind. There's no big three. I'm not giving that to Zverev. And I hate to say this, I'm not giving that to Nadal until Nadal can come back and prove to himself. It doesn't have to prove it to us or to me, obviously, but he's got to feel confident that he can go out there and be Rafa and play every point like it's his last point and do that all year long. That's going to be tough at his age. This foot injury has been with him his whole entire career, and then he really jacked it up against Novak. If you want to know how tough Rafa is and why he seemed to fall after that really tough third set against Novak, where Novak won at 7-6, somewhere in the middle of that third set, Rafa jacked up that foot that's been plaguing him since he's been a kid. That's where he jacked it up, and that's why he couldn't compete in the fourth set and has shut down his tennis game. He came back, he tried to play Washington. He had a really cool, courageous match against Jack Sock, but, he just can't go. He couldn't go. So, all right, let's see. We're going to take a couple more comments, then we're going to take off. Pete, agree with you on Novak. Daniel, now can you talk about match strategy between them? What can one guy win versus the other? So yeah, I think the thing about that matchup is that with Novak and Medvedev is the good news for Medvedev is Medvedev gets to play his game. Medvedev gets to serve the same exact way. He doesn't have to try and serve even bigger. Medvedev can basically play the way he plays. And Djokovic to win has to get, but he's fully capable of, and that's what he did at Paris, is he's got to take it to Medvedev a little more. At least that's how he feels in his mind. That's what he's doing. He's taking more of the offense. He's changing directions more. He's serving and volleying a bit more. He's trying more drop shots. He is coming to the net more. He's trying to dictate the play. And lots of times Djokovic doesn't have to do that. Obviously, he's capable of doing that, and that's how he won in Paris. But I think Djokovic is his most comfortable when he's just like solid. If you watch a lot of Wimbledon, all he did, like he got through Wimbledon on his B game, and all he had to do was literally, go watch his matches. For several matches, all Djokovic had to do was hit through the middle of the court. He didn't even go like cross court. He was just like hitting through the center of the court, being super solid, letting people make unforced errors, having them come to the net when they really weren't comfortable or capable of it, and then he'd pass them. And that's the way that he likes to play, as far as like these are easy wins. This is easy work, easy money. Against Medvedev, he's got to think more. He's got to take more risks. He's got to be creating more, and that gets him a little bit out of his comfort zone. So that's the way the matchup is. Medi has to do something stupid to lose against Djokovic. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know if he has to do something stupid. I mean, Djokovic certainly, Djokovic at the Australian Open was at the top of his game. That was that was a level Joker, and he just destroyed Medvedev. And I don't know if there was anything, even if Medvedev played his best game. He definitely didn't play his best game at the Australian Open. But even if he played his best game, I'm not sure there's anything on that day that Medvedev could have done to turn that match around. Maybe more topspin on the passing shot. Hits the ball flat now. Yeah, he hits the ball so flat. Okay, tennis. So according to age and not success, a player is SB else poor man. I don't know SB else poor. Got it. Kind of like Agassi is poor man Roddick. Okay, I'm not sure following that. I'm not following that. I think this new generation is lacking consistency and level. Djokovic could win everyone. Yeah, that's true. Djokovic, I thought, won Wimbledon. I think that's a good point Michael brings up. I think Djokovic won Wimbledon without his A game. He didn't even have to ever bring it to his A game. He had to play a little better against Berrettini. I still don't even think that was his A game. He just played solid, not great, and he was not even challenged at at Wimbledon. He was certainly challenged at the French Open. He was lightly challenged at the Australian Open. U.S. Open, I think the nerves got the best of him. He made some matches that he normally would have won. He lost some sets. He won some matches that were tighter than they normally would have been if I didn't think he was carrying all that weight on his shoulders to complete the Grand Slam. I think he was just physically and mentally exhausted. That's why you saw him cry there. I think he just let it all out. Um, there was a lot on him. So tough to play your best tennis when it's all on you like that. Bashkar is hardcore Djokovic hater, and they're crying with laughter. True, macro. I am a Fed maniac. Okay, one more comment. The master of clutch, U.S. Open final, one of those rare blips. That's true. Yeah, I mean, Djokovic is the master of clutch. Matteo Berrettini's backhand is a huge issue to challenge Novak. I agree with that. Yeah, his backhand is getting better. I think his two-hander's getting better. I think he's even learning how to, use his slice more effectively. His serve and his forehand are sick. He's decent at the net. But yeah, that backhand can be picked on. That backhand can be picked on. And also, it seems to me that Berrettini is one of those uh, kind of like Tsitsipas, where you start to get excited, you start to see consistent results, and then all of a sudden, you're like, "What's happening these last 3 or 4 months? Where is that Berrettini guy? What happened to him?" So I think that's an issue that Matteo, and he's not a young guy. He's actually 25 or 26. I thought he was younger than that. So Berrettini, like, he's got to get something done soon. Like, and I don't see it. I see his window slipping quickly because when you look at um, Novak's still here for 2 or 3 years, you look at Medvedev here for, I don't know, 8, 10 years. You look at Alcaraz. He looks like he's going to be there. Sinner. I mean, they're younger, and you would think have more upside. You'd think there's still plenty of improving to do. They're going to need to improve to become champions. Felix all day Auger, maybe. I don't know. He seems to be mentally weak somehow. I don't know. Love that guy. I was hoping he was going to really. I would have liked to see Felix be right there at the top, but man, kind of like Zverev, where just obviously shaky and a nervous player. Nothing wrong with that as a person. I mean, we're just talking tennis here. I mean, it could be okay. It could be okay to be a nervous person. Nothing wrong with that. I'm a nervous person, to be honest. I get nervous out there in matches. Berrettini, one of those guys who don't give up. Plan B. He's too predictable. Yeah. Oh, who doesn't have a plan B. Berrettini doesn't have a plan B. Your call, my Matteo, is right on. Sinner is going to be top dog from Italy soon. Maybe. We'll see. All right, guys. Thank you so much. If you like this video on your way out, it really does help me if you smash the like button for me. That would be super nice of you. Share this video with your friends. You know, you can say, hey, what do you think about this, guy? Is he right? Is this the new rivalry? Is it just all about Djokovic and Medvedev? I kind of think it is. I really do. I think it's those two guys, and you know, other people are going to have to really step up, add things, get their confidence up. They're going to need to do something to get on the same plane with Medvedev and Djokovic. Nadal, I want him. I want him to be right there again. I think he's getting too old. Um, that's what I see. That was fun, Pete. Nice one. All right, take care. We'll see you guys.